Hey guys, welcome back to Filter Coffee Football. Bad result. 3-2. Manchester United 3, Arsenal 2 at Old Trafford. Really amazing match. Lots of good things to take home from that one, but unfortunately not 3 points. Uh, Really tough to talk about the result. I literally only went back to watch the highlights because I needed to watch the highlights, but not because I really enjoyed it particularly that much. I saw a lot of the match in chops and changes. I wasn't able to sit down and enjoy the full match thanks to midweek fixtures. But yeah, Karthik, I think you got to see the whole 90 minutes and you have some choice
I did.
words
I did.
to say about some of the
Ah,
decisions that went on. So let's dive in. But before you do that, please like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Filter Coffee Footy. And yeah, let's first just talk about this game, which was just full of errors on both sides.
both sides,
But
definitely.
for me, for us, primarily, we want to talk about the errors on the Arsenal side. I felt at least two of the goals that we conceded were just absolutely stupid, silly mistakes. We've been doing an amazing job of keeping the 6 yard box tight, not letting balls come in, and yet Ronaldo found some space in there to get his 800th real goal again. Great achievement for him. Sucks that it came against us, but the defense kind of just felt like switched off right over there. I mean, Partey was there, Ben White was there, Gabriel was there. What happened? That ball should have been defended all day long. And then the goal that they scored to go 3-2, Odegaard, oof, that was just comedy of errors there. And unfortunately, Odegaard, who had an otherwise incredible game, will
Probably
take
his best
that.
game this season. It was his
Yeah,
best game this season.
and his take home memory from this game is going to be the penalty that he conceded. And funnily enough, the take home for Fred will be winning the penalty, even though
Yeah.
he was kind of atrocious and largely responsible for at least the first goal that Arsenal did score. So yeah, what is your take on those errors for us? Like, where do you stand on, like, is it a good thing for you, bad thing? Go ahead.
I think these errors can only be ironed out with practice and with experience. You could like say, okay, but you shouldn't be making these errors. Yeah, obviously you shouldn't be making these errors, but hey, it's a young squad, right? That's what we are looking at right now. We are looking at probably the youngest average squad or youngest average starting level in the Premier League. I I was particularly not impressed with how Thomas Partey played. He the few passes that I saw that he made, those were risky ones, and then he lost out the ball quite a lot of times. I feel being a senior or be coming with some huge expectations, you ought to step up at least in these big games. The Odegaard incident, I again don't understand when does VAR kick in or when does the prerogative shift to VAR is the primary referee and not the actual referee on the pitch, because the referee on the pitch did not blow it for a foul, did not deem it worth a foul. But and the game continues. The game continues. The play moves forward to the halfway line. After which VAR says, "Oh no, stop it right there. Let's review this." So, how? What is the justification behind VAR, and where is VAR actually playing a role? Is what I need to understand right now.
No, that's. I think that's a fair call because VR basically kicks in when there is a potential red card or a potential penalty decision. So I'm on board with how that decision went about. The referee did not think it was a foul. Probably just didn't have the right angle on the tackle. Me, from where when I was seeing it, I was seeing it from obviously the exact opposite view as the referee because of where the camera was placed. And when I saw Odegaard lunge in, I knew it was a foul. I knew
That
that it
was
was a penalty,
certain.
and I was shocked when it wasn't called. And part of me hoped that, oh, we probably just got away with something. But I think VAR was actually honestly used properly in that situation. Um, I guess the only issue is how long they allow play to continue. They really should be trying to um, put a timer on VAR. If you're not able to come to a decision within 30 seconds of the incident, then it probably was not clear and obvious. In which case, you should not be overturning whatever decision was made. Now, this particular decision was the correct decision. I will admit, it was a foul, it was a penalty, but generally, that's how I feel they should approach VAR: is give it a time limit, and if you cannot make up your mind within that time, just move on, let the game flow at that point, because it doesn't make sense to keep the play stopped for that long. And then I don't know what sort of minute things they look for as well, because it took them like 3 minutes to come to the decision for Arsenal's first goal, even though anyone who saw the replay even once knew that no Arsenal player was even close to David De Gea when he went down. So right off the bat, there is no foul in that situation. It doesn't matter where the contact came from at that point, because it clearly didn't come from an Arsenal player, and it doesn't matter if a Manchester United player fouled his own teammate, because that's not a foul. So I don't know why they waited 3 minutes to come to a conclusion on that. So it's kind of comical. I get what you're saying, where VAR is just so weird as to how they use it and how much time they kind of spend on it when they come to a decision. Um, but yeah, I mean, moving on from the errors, I think the other thing that we really wanted to touch upon was, um, for a change, Arsenal actually looked like they were up for it. There was a lot of fight. We came to Old Trafford as equals, and you could see it in the way that Arsenal played. But there is still something to be said about that big game mentality that somehow Manchester United just seem to have. Again, home advantage uh, in a rivalry always makes a big difference. Um, but I was really hoping for us to do a little bit more. I think some of the errors did show our immaturity and lack of sharpness in those situations. Um, Unfortunately, it's just like, and you hit the nail on the head, where you want players like Thomas Partey and Aubameyang to really shine in these moments, because
Step up.
they are
Yep.
the senior players. They should be the ones, really shepherding the team and kind of making sure that they are prepared for this big occasion. Because the youth can bring the energy and they can bring the drive, but they cannot bring the composure that is needed, to hold on to a 1-0 lead, or once you're up 2-2, to make sure that you don't concede the next goal, with a silly tackle. And I think that's where we really let the game go, is we were just not mentally
Allowing them
prepared.
into the game. Allowing them into
Exactly.
the game was the biggest problem. I
Exactly.
mean, the moment you went 1-0 up is when you start to dominate them and pile up the most amount of pressure, because that's when you are also susceptible to a goal. The moment you are up is exactly the moment when you are susceptible to a counter attack or to a quick move that will just derail your confidence because you're already so sky high. But that's when you know how to turn up the screws and how to keep the pressure at them. But we just let it sink away, and duly so, United took their chances. We didn't. There was this one incident where Gabriel Martinelli had the ball. He dribbled out against United, got the ball in the right area, and then took a shot where Emil Smith Rowe was waiting in the box. I mean, that comes with experience, where even though you are a striker and you might be the most clinical person on that pitch, you still want to pass it to someone who has a better chance of scoring, because he's got a much better angle at the goal, and he's got a bigger view of the goal than you have, because you're dribbling in from an angle and you're directly facing the keeper, so you only have an X amount of percentage of area to shoot at.
Yeah, and I think that also kind of highlights, like we've been talking about this, that Martinelli probably should have been getting more game time than he has been. And it does highlight the lack of, a real like on pitch 90-minute time that he's had, because he doesn't have probably that level of camaraderie, that kind of chemistry in game with his teammates, to where he has the awareness
Right.
to make that pass. Instead, he just wants to build on his own striker's instinct and try and shoot. And a lot of these things just get fixed when you just spend more time on the pitch. That's really important. Hopefully, we will utilize him more, because he was still really good in the match. So tough result. And I know you want to talk about one incident. I did not catch this incident, and we're not going to spend too much time on it, because we're kind of running short on time. But yeah, but I do want to highlight that. So please go ahead, talk about that one.
So again, Harry Maguire pulling down Tomiyasu inside the penalty box doesn't get reviewed, doesn't get called a foul. Agreed, the referee cannot see everything that happens on the pitch. I take that. I will take that argument day in, day out. But then, where is VAR? I mean, how is VAR not looking at it actively? But they could look at another incident where the referee did not look at it as a foul. This is where I ask for consistency. I don't want to say that, oh, we were wronged, we were intentionally wronged, but I think the implementation itself is flawed, where VR kicks in whenever they want it to kick in, but there is no definition of how and when it gets implemented. Because, hey, you could say that, okay, VAR comes in after the referee blows a foul, because VAR thinks it might not be one and the referee was wrong to give it. Or you act it as a review that's taken by teams, which it is not. So, where is the prerogative for VAR? Where does VAR stand? And what how can this be more consistent? Because it's not just Arsenal or one team that is affected by this. It's the entirety of the Premier League that gets affected by the inconsistency in refereeing as a whole. Right? I am talking about the entire league, not just this one isolated incident. Just take it at a holistic level and think about it. Okay, it might be easy to say you don't have a solution, but I've at least highlighted the problem, right? Let's not,
Yeah,
yeah,
we already spoke about VAR in another video, and surprisingly enough, there have been
exactly.
more more VAR issues since then as well. So clearly, the system still needs to work itself out. It has been used more efficiently in other leagues. It was used really well at the Euros just earlier this year as well. So I think there is room to grow in the Premier League. They need to kind of fine tune it a little bit more. But yeah, that's unfortunately that's where we'll have to we have to end it. Is that it's just not a perfect system. We should have done better. We had all the tools. We had the momentum. We should have gotten those 3 points, if not a draw. But I think it will be a learning experience. Still doing really well. Still in with a shot at top four, which nobody would have thought at the start of the season. So still an amazing season. Not going to let this one result bog us down. And yeah, we're just
Right.
gonna go and get better from here. Next up is Everton, who themselves again are in quite a fix. It seems like Arsenal's trend recently has been to go to teams that are in a tight bind themselves. So it's
Hmm.
always a coin toss where the teams might just show up on that day, or we might just end up rolling them over and taking advantage of their situation.
Right.
But yeah, that
I
was no. Please go ahead.
I also wanted to say that, yeah, Michael Carrick put in his resignation just hours after the game. Yeah, that was something that just surprised me. I'm
I
not
feel
sure
he
what triggered it.
I feel he anticipated that Rangnick was probably going to get rid of him. But yeah, I think he just anticipated. It's like the honor move, right? You know, you're kind of going to be first name on the chopping block, so just do the nice thing and just let yourself out on your own. But, but yeah. That was us talking about Manchester United versus Arsenal. Next up is going to be Arsenal versus Everton. So join us for that review. Also catch our compilation for both weekends, because, or rather midweek and weekend, because really dense list of
Right,
fixtures. So
fixtures.
that should be out in a couple of days as well. And yeah, see you guys there. Take care. Have a great rest of the week. Have a good weekend. And like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Filter Coffee Footy on Instagram. And bye. See ya.
See ya.